gave that up
That's
a long time ago.
We need a third party. We need an independent peer review of your booze drinking during this podcast.
Not everyone's happy in this house besides me during our recordings.
Drunk Omar is a huge come up from like awkward. I don't want to talk to keep my job.
Wait, okay. Hey, we're recording right now, so all right, let's get started. I believe this is episode 7 of Nerdin'In. We're just a bunch of guys stuck in quarantine. The stay-at-home orders have started lifting, but talking about nerd stuff. My name is Sean. I'm out of Michigan.
What's up? I'm Omar in Tejas.
I'm Craig in Fremont, California.
I am the mad rapper out of Washington State.
All right.
That was one of the greatest skits ever.
I have no idea what you're talking about, but I believe you.
You're more like the Tyrone Biggums out of Washington.
Okay, I know Tyrone Biggums.
I just cried a little Sean Zhang. I really did.
Okay. All right. First off, we had a big piece of news drop this week. DC and Diamond have broken their relationship. So for those of you that don't know, DC is the number 2 publisher of such properties such as Batman, Superman, Craig's favorite, Wonder Woman, and many other titles. And Diamond Distributors, I think in the 90s, they became the monopoly of comic distribution within North America and also many parts of Europe. And so, yeah, they've controlled the industry for a long time. And DC had an exclusive contract with them for the last 25 years, I believe, give or take. And due to the COVID-19 and all the shutdown orders from the various states, Diamond had shut down all their distribution and all their payments to publishers. And they were basically saying that, they're going to control when everything comes back online. So DC, owned by Time Warner, which was recently bought by AT&T. So somewhere along that chain, someone didn't like that Diamond was controlling when everything was coming back online, and a decision was made where DC was like, we're going to first start off with 2 other publishers alongside Diamond, and then this week they were like, yeah, we're going to stick with these 2 publishers, and we're just not using Diamond anymore. So that's going to cause, more work for a lot of the local comic shops. And it might cause a lot of other things. So let's speculate on how the fallout's going to affect the industry.
Well, so far, we've only been getting like new books for maybe the last 3 weeks, which has been great. But DC has been leading the efforts. They've been actually putting out more books than Marvel. I think it's been 2 weeks for Marvel, but like just this last week, it was only like 3 or 4 books. And then the week before that was like 3 or 4. Meanwhile, DC, they've been putting out like 10, 15 books for the last month now. So,
and all the Bat books hit today.
Okay. Yeah, it was crazy because I know, Craig, you're the Catwoman guy, Catwoman lover here.
Her 80th anniversary books did come out today, including all of J. Scott Campbell's alternate covers, which is available on his Twitter and his website, and all of the the variant covers and the actual issue hit today. So she might be married right now. I do not know. I have not read it. And even if I had, I wouldn't want to spoil it right now.
Yeah, so it could be argued that, DC made the right decision, took destiny back in their hands. And, hey, maybe it was a good time to just wipe their hands free of that relationship, especially with new ownership. So, when I was a big time DC guy like 6 years ago, I mean, their books were solid. They're incredible. Some of the best stuff out that they just couldn't find a way to translate into TV and film. But I'm reading maybe 2 DC books right now. Just Wonder Woman.
How dare you?
I'm sorry?
I said, how dare you?
Yeah, right? I mean, hey, they're still my characters that I love. But
and they still can't translate it into film. That's not the Joker.
I don't know. I mean, there's some good Brazers.
Wait, Brazier? What? What'd you say?
Nothing. We're not there.
Okay, I know.
He loves Jared Leto Joker was what he was saying. So, Ferone, you want to talk about Jared Leto Joker and about how much you love him?
No, I am going to disclaim. I work for one of the companies involved, sort of, for the conglomerates involved. So I cannot comment on the potential business changes. Not that I know anything, because I literally know nothing. But it would be inappropriate for me to speculate on the plans of any of the companies. However, I will say that the industry has probably been clamoring for diversification away from Diamond for a long time. So it'll be interesting to see if Disney makes a move also and just puts the final, puts the final stake in that vampire.
Right. That's my question, is because Disney has the money that they could just fully do it on their own if they want.
Who knows? Maybe Diamond was being held back by having to send. You got to think about it, right? They're sending DC and Marvel. That's probably like the only job they can do, right? And send HeroClix late, right? So, like a lot of people complain that a lot of shops complain they send product late, statues and all the other stuff.
Yeah, so their Alliance is their sister company.
No, I know Alliance does, but if you're a comic shop owner,
yeah,
a lot of times they'll force you to take Diamond for your other product Alliance can also provide. I remember having this to go through this when I opened a store, right? You were Alliance if you were a game store, but if you already had a Diamond relationship, you were forced into Diamond. And that might have changed over the years, but you were forced to use Diamond.
That was still true, at least at the beginning of the lockdown. I don't know how it's changed with DC breaking, but at the beginning of the lockdown it was. So
what I'm wondering if carrying the load of having to do Marvel and all Marvel's and DC's books messed up other parts of their potential business, right? Because a lot of times with, like even around here, like the comic stores will just be late getting other stuff. They'll get their books on time, but they'll get other stuff late, whether it's action figures or other stuff Diamond provides, right? So I'm wondering if this will add some. Right. I'm wondering if it'll add more efficiency back into their business, and maybe let them open up for other avenues of distribution. Maybe they'll pick up some more indie books.
I wonder if this is so for Diamond to even maybe go out of business just because they're losing potentially. I mean, of all the books that are
30 to 40%, right?
Yeah, and shipped. I mean, that's a lot of money.
Yeah, maybe, but they could pick it up somewhere else.
Yeah, because they're really a part of the supply chain, right?
Right. They have the distribution network already in place, so they might be able to pick up. They might be able to reduce for a little bit, reduce headcount, and do all the things companies would do, right? Losing a contract like that, and then apply that somewhere else to some other distribution needs for some other publisher or something else, and then use that. They already have the network. So I don't think we'll see Diamond
where would they
go
pick
away.
it up though? Because like the indies, I don't think they're big enough to fill that big of a void. And if you go into other types of like, say, the book market, a lot of that's cornered by book publishers and like Scholastic and other stuff. So,
but we don't know. Oh, go ahead.
I was going to say the only place that I could see it, and obviously they would have to keep Marvel for almost any of this to happen, is Fantasy Flight has cut back on a lot of things. If they could pick up on that market a little bit, obviously it's a bit of a right turn for them. But if they want to survive, they almost have to, because they're going to lose a large part of their business.
Yeah, I have no idea what Asmodee is doing with all their various brands. They cut back on a lot of stuff. What was it, 2 years ago? So yeah, and they were the biggest ones. So yeah, Fantasy Flight in that umbrella. I think it just seems like everything's shrinking.
Well, you think about it, right? That's a potential partnership. If a company doesn't want to do it themselves, that's what got Marvel and DC into this in the first place, right? Paying someone else to do it for you, right? You're willing to slice off some of that profit to not have to carry the headcount and all the resources it takes to run your own distribution operation. And now, a company used to distributing, in that sphere, right? They're used to doing it already. They just freed up a whole bunch of time.
Right.
So it could be a silver lining on it. Sorry.
Yeah, I was thinking this could be a way of saving like Galaxy's Edge and some of the role-playing books that were deemed not cost effective by Asmodee earlier this year.
Possible.
It makes me think on the other side of things in comic book history, when we lost Wizard, right? Wizard was like the voice of the comic book industry. They were also running a good majority of the cons all throughout the US. And since then, which has been almost 20 years since they stopped doing what they did, out of that, other voices stepped in, right? So we got like Push and all these other toy blogs that came in and started doing all the toy comedy, along with like IG and
Rooster Teeth.
Right? Definitely that too. That's like, of course, the most successful iteration of that type of humor. But it kind of aligned things back again where you had more cities that were doing more local things and they just made them bigger because Wizard, they were bringing all the big names in for all the shows, but now they just went directly to the people that were running shows, or other people stepped in like Jimmy J, who runs the Amazing Con, and has been doing that for like the last 10 years and has been doing a fantastic job. I learned a lot about him on how to like be at a Comic-Con, just having like semi cute girls, but being nerds and also just jacking your prices up.
So you're saying that we should go take over the void? That Diamond is no longer filming.
Look, if the market's going to dictate what people want, and do people still want published comics? That's the question, right?
That's the real question.
If we go straight digital.
Yeah, I mean, because that's what we've experienced, right, for the last 3 months.
So I think in the comic industry, I think what's publishing, from what I've read in public, in different news articles, it's not a consistently profitable business, even for Marvel and DC, right? It's not consistently a plus. It's not in the black. It's being held up. Obviously, you could say, well, it leads to movies and all that stuff, but it's still its own separate business unit, right? So unless you roll it into a more profitable business unit, it's not there. A lot of that, and people don't want to admit it, a lot of that is artists, writers, the really big ones, they make bank, right? They're supposed to sell books, right? That's the point of getting a famous artist or writer, right? Is to sell books.
I mean, I forgot how big Jim Lee's contract was when he went to DC.
But think about this.
It was huge.
Industry and book sales have been consistently sinking over the last decade. Do artists and writers really sell books? If your job is to sell books and the book sales aren't going up, I mean, again, not just, I know I'm kind of encapsulating it in a large group, but if that's been consistently happening, maybe it's time to go the other route and make comics again what it used to be, a way for people to cut their teeth on writing and cut their teeth in art. Right? Stan Lee wanted to be the great American novelist until he discovered comic books. Mm-hmm. Or until he discovered comic books. Until he started writing his own comics and became famous doing that, right? But he never wanted to be a comic writer long term. Right? That was never his long-term career goals when he started.
No, it wasn't.
So it might be time to go back to that cottage industry, and it might be a time for where everyone makes a lot less, but because you have unknown names, but that saves the industry money and keeps it profitable. So if it ain't making money, it's going to go away. That's what people keep forgetting, right? Like DC over the last 20 years has really been stout about keeping comic shops in trying to keep them alive, right? Like they're really
with the price, not increasing the price on some books, and
so the question is
returnability.
Do you keep the comic? Do you save the leg to lose the patient?
The other theory is that they're using the comics as a springboard into movie projects and
Sure,
and
but
animation.
But if you think of it that way, right, which is true, I think that argument comes from a lot of fans a lot too. Because if they were doing that as companies, Marvel and DC wouldn't have them as separate business units. There wouldn't be a publishing business. You would just roll the publishing business under Feige's umbrella, right?
Mm-hmm.
And then you could never say it's not profitable because his division's profitable, right?
Like what has shocked me with comics for a long time is that movies digital is so much higher than physical copies now. Songs, it's digital is so much higher. Video games digital is higher than physical. Comics are even like print and paper books. Like if you go, people thought that the new Hunger Games book was going to be what got people back to reading physical books, and just the online sales have dwarfed it. And comics have been the only things that have kind of been the holdout. So I would be, now that avenue is open to almost go straight to digital easier, I would be interested to see if people would accept it, because it's one of the few that fans have held pretty strong on.
I think if they're going to tap into the younger generation, they have to really market that digital, because like young kids these days, they're not the ones buying the single issues. We're all in our like 30s and up.
Y'all are. I don't really buy that much. I subscribe. I read most of my stuff on DC's app, Marvel Unlimited. I just wait the 6 months till it comes out, and I'll buy a trade paper. Unless and I stop at a comic store, she'll drop a couple $100 on trade paperbacks.
Yeah, I'm reading more trade paperbacks than I am single issue.
That's how I read comics.
Yeah, I'm reading trade as well for most of my stuff. Right. So I'm usually 1 or 2 trades behind on a release schedule, but yeah, so because like I'm old now. Once I read a single issue and it doesn't come out on time, it comes out 4 to 6 weeks later, like I don't remember what happened. It's
that's the comic industry. Come on, get with it, Sean.
Also, I'm wondering what's going to happen to like the third-party comics outside of Marvel and DC too. Like, so the Archie universe, I know that all of us have different feelings on it, but it had been making a fairly strong comeback in comics. The new Buffy comics have a pretty big following. So what's going to happen with Dark Horse, Image, the ones that are
I think that's all scale based too, right?
Yeah.
Success for Marvel and DC is different because let's be honest, they pay people differently.
Yes.
If you're writing a top book for Marvel or DC, you're probably making really good money, right? If you're writing Dark Horse's top book, you're probably making good money, but you're not making Jim Lee money.
Well,
you're not making Josh Whedon money when he comes and writes a book every 4 years.
I was gonna say, like, that's the caveat, is that he's still getting some of that Buffy money. So like that's the one caveat.
Sure, but I mean, like, you're not making all the same. It's not the same scale, right? It's
Yes.
actually not dissimilar to wrestling. Craig's super into wrestling. WWE pays their stars more money. AEW pays them less, but they have to work less of a schedule, and
Correct.
that company has less cost, so they can afford to do that, right? It's all how you're structured. Marvel and DC aren't structured to have a profitable publishing business. Like, to run it on its own and to say publishing has to survive on its own in an era where print is dying or almost dead, it's on life support, right? Print media, period, is basically saying we have a failing division. How are we going to turn into money? The only way you make it profitable, either got to pay everybody less to do the books, or you got to roll it into a more profitable division, like, movies or TV or whatever's making money.
But so let's say, kind of disaster scenario, well, not necessarily that, but let's say Marvel and DC decide we're just going to do digital from now on. Would you still like to see like the big books? Like we just had Batman's like big anniversary earlier this year. We're having Catwoman's anniversary. We're gonna have we just had the finish of Doomsday Clock. Would you still like those in print, or would you like it just to straight up be gone?
I'd like it. I'd like it to go to just trades. I think trades can survive in the environment.
Trades are beautiful. They're pretty. You know, they obviously just the ones that are at least do like the master editions or whatever you want to call
Sure.
them. They're like bigger print, so it's like actually the same page that a lot of the artists actually do the work on. So you're seeing in page the true scale of how it was actually drawn out and written. So I mean, for me, I'm always going to be in the comics. I'm a lifer. I would love to see monthlies survive, but I don't think it's going to happen.
I think it can. I think it can survive. I just think it's going to hurt, right? People that collect are going to have to change the way that they're going to have to. The problem is the industry. I mean, the amount of people in the world that read comics is really small, right? Population is just really small. It's a niche, like it's a niche, right? Cinema did not do for the
Increase
comic
the
industry
way.
what everyone thought it would, right? Everyone's like,
Yeah,
oh, no one
1%.
reads the books. First of all, a lot of people don't read the books because 4 books are the same price as the Avengers DVD or digital copy or whatever, right? That's 4 books. I think a move to digital works if it's coupled with a price decrease in books. Think about 2 or 3 years at $2 a copy, or some kind of subscription service. Like, but you don't do it because you're keeping the comic stores alive. The only reason the publishers won't do it is to keep brick and mortar alive.
Right.
Right? That's really the only reason I can think of that they would do that. Keep brick and mortar alive. Honestly, you could still sell comics. You could do a direct-to-consumer model. Hasbro's doing that right now with their action figures. They have their own website, right? Hasbro Pulse. You can go pre-order anything coming out for Hasbro. You can pre-order from their website. And they have stuff you really get there first, right? And that still competes with Target. It competes with Walmart, unless it's an exclusive, obviously, right? And competes with other channels. But you can order direct from the manufacturer, right? Comics may have to go to something like that in some way, shape, or form to make it out.
Yeah, they're almost facing the same thing that like magazines and newspapers are.
Right.
Where,
Well,
yeah,
the exact same thing, right? But I think they could learn something from the toy industry. I think a direct-to-consumer option, right, and not undercutting your partners in price. I would never advocate for that, right? The manufacturer should not sell it for, just like they're doing with clicks right now, right? You
That's
can
what
buy
I was
them right
saying.
from
WizKids is trying to do
for
it too.
full price, and they should be full price. But you should never undercut your brick and mortar, right? Your partners. But
I think to tag on to that idea about trying to be slick and test out the direct-to-consumer market without sticking your penis right inside of the comic book shop owner's face. They were doing that for a while, and I think the comic shop owners, they saw it. They were pissed when they started doing a different, instead of a variant, it was a digital copy. So you get the comic book, but then you also get the digital copy. And I think that was a way for them to test to see if people will read, without getting the subscription or trying to tag people into Comixology or whatever site it is to read it on.
I just don't think that we're going to be able to save all of it.
Yeah.
And if we're okay with the industry going away, then we're okay with the industry going away. Right?
I'm also interested on a dark note to see how many comic shops reopen.
I mean,
that's a real good point.
A lot of them were on the fringe to begin with.
Right. And I'm
just
saying this was the
model.
I feel this is nail in the coffin for a lot of them.
Yeah. I mean, if you're going to say, Chris, do you want comics to keep going, or do you want comics to end, but we'll have comic shops till the end? Listen, I love comic shops, but if it means 20 more years of stories, man, they got to go.
For me, I feel like I have enough friends where I can go to their house and experience their little man cave, and that would be like what was the comic shop experience that we can tell our great grandkids about.
Right.
Comic shops have been dying, and
A lot of them have, yeah, due to the quarantine. A lot of them, we've heard news about big shops. Well, not big anymore, but
I mean, but
really
Lee's was like a big thing in the Bay Area, and it's gone.
Yeah, a lot of those legacy shops are dying.
Brought everybody in. I would go to the Peninsula to see Jim Lee, Stan Lee, everybody. I mean, yeah, Lee's was huge. So that's something. If Lee's at one point, they're like the biggest shop in the Bay Area, had like 4 shops, and look where they're at now. I think a lot
Lee, go ahead, sorry.
A big reason why they failed is they held on to the old concept and idea, which I love. I love going through back issues. That's just an archaic design. The only people that can really do that is there's like a handful of people. You could do it. Midtown could do it because they're special. They're in New York. And maybe Mile High, because they have both, they have shop and they have their online. So
right.
I mean, go ahead, Chris.
Realistically, also with Lee's, you got to look at the market they were in too. That's a tough ass market to own a comic shop in, right? The Bay Area, pre-COVID, real estate being, your left arm per square foot, right? Like, that's a tough model. That Mountain View Plaza they were in, I over the 15 years I lived around the corner from them, I watched that plaza change dramatically, right? Rent definitely went up. And, even Conspiracy, the building they're in, I was trying to get that opened as a cricket store at one point. Like, I know what the asking rent was. Mm-hmm. It wasn't cheap, right? These are businesses that got to survive on a different real estate model. What I do think you will see after COVID, the retail real estate market is about to hit the great cool off, right? A lot of businesses are about to be gone. A lot of plazas are going to be open. You might see a small resurgence of people opening their own nerd shops. I'm not going to call it a comic shop. I'm going to call it a general nerd shop. I think, you got to open a shop that could have comics, gaming. You got to do all of it, right? You got to encapsulate
you got to have
it's got to be like general nerdery, almost like a nerder republic, right? You got to have a general nerd area, right?
So you're saying like Isle of Gamers model?
Right. I think you'll see a resurgence in that initially because rent's about to come down. Like, even in this market, we're already seeing rent drop 20% like that. People go because there's a lot of spots open, right? And they were already having real estate and it's only because I do a lot of real estate searching for work, so I pay like a super close attention to the markets, right? You were already seeing things over 1,000 square feet in hot markets like Seattle, Bay Area, the big cities. They were already hard to rent out because you're asking, so much money, right? Well, now you take that 1,500 square foot space, you drop the price 30-40%. Place wants to do gaming too, because gaming before COVID, gaming was on the come up. Gaming was on the super come up.
Right.
And you got to remember too, at some point there will be a vaccine, and then as soon as that happens, people are going to lose their shit and go back to trying to recapture their normal lives. But especially for things like gaming.
I think even the modern so take for example Flying Colors, which is in Walnut Creek. They started Free Comic Book Day. They're pretty much focused on new stuff instead of back issues. That's what they have out.
Yep.
They're hurting a lot by this.
Sure.
So I'm kind of in the same boat with you where I don't think that the brick and mortar after COVID, the brick and mortar just strictly comic shop can survive. You're gonna have to have Magic. You're gonna have to have board games. You're gonna have to have.
And let's be honest, you always should have had that stuff.
Yeah.
To be running a retail store on a niche product is unbelievable. How many people read comics in the United States? Anyone want to take a stab at it? Do you think it's over 300,000 people?
Oh no,
active readers, not even close.
No, because
I don't even think it's 100K.
Selling 50,000 these days.
Right. So if it's less, let's say it's 250,000 people, 250,000 people in the whole country of 330 million, right, are reading comics. They're keeping an entire retail subset alive. Does that make sense?
I mean,
Like,
it's
is
kind
that
of
is it
scary.
sustainable?
No, when you think about like comics, right? It's kind of like stories, it's ideas, it's
Yeah.
mythos. So the books, they're a big part of it if you want to dive deep, but not a lot of people, especially a younger generation, they don't have time for it. They can only look at things in like 30, 45 second span anyways. So they're not going to read a book that takes like 5 to 10 minutes to read, to sit down.
Maybe stories change. Maybe books get smaller. Maybe
But,
books
but
are only
also,
5 pages. Maybe it's only 5-page comics from now on.
what upsets me more is so like when I talk to younger kids, I talk to them about the Dark Phoenix saga, which was like the big comic book story for me. Don't hate. But all young kids say how much Dark Phoenix sucks because they have X-Men 3 or they have X-Men Dark Phoenix, and that's what they relate it to.
And listen, that might be the evolution. Remember, that was one of Stan Lee's visions, right? With the comics would change mediums to become television and movies. He was just too early to the game, and special effects sucked, right? Like maybe the medium evolves, and that's what we get. We get more TV, more cartoons, more. It becomes that medium first, and comic book second. That happened with similar to what happened to the Dungeons and Dragons sphere, right? Dungeons and Dragons started out as the game where you hid it from your parents and people played it, and then there was an explosion in the 80s and 90s of novels, right? You had a novel for you had worlds and novels and all this novelization of the product. You fast forward to now, right? D&D went back to its roots. It's back to being a game. And of all the different novels and all the different storylines and all the stuff that was happening for D&D, there's like one book standing. And these books were all a lot of these were New York Times best-selling series. Every book that came out would be a New York Times bestseller, right? It had its run. Those books are, there's a resurgence somewhat because of Audible, right? But they're not making new books except for one series left. Right?
But
That's
I would also
last series standing.
I would also say Audible's been the Band-Aid that saved a lot of written literature for a while now.
I have not read a book in a very long time. I listened to probably 3 to 5 books a month, but I have not read a book in a long time. And I'm super judgy on who reads my books.
Just thinking about the video game industry, like arcades used to be a thing, and
and they still are. They're still
arcades
there.
are coming back.
They're still there, right?
But they were dead. They were dead for a couple decades now. Before any kind of resurgence. But
it's a nostalgia resurgence.
But the whole the industry switched and it's moved to digital downloads nowadays, especially for PC, and then the consoles are slowly catching up to that. So yeah, I'm thinking the comic industry needs to do something like that to survive.
And listen, there'll still be comic stores left. Let's not get that messed up, right? There'll always be a place. There just won't be one in every decent sized city anymore.
Yeah.
At least for now. Books, because thankfully we have Disney. Thank you Disney for saving Marvel. And I'm so happy to have all the best characters in comic books in one place in the house.
Well, they've always
other
had
than
them for
Selena Kyle.
Books. Disney had them for always had them for comics.
Prime.
They just didn't have them for movies. And technically, they still don't own the rights to Spider-Man. They're just borrowing it.
I'm pretty sure.
And they could not make a solo Hulk. They can still not make a solo Hulk movie.
Yeah, well, I'm pretty sure that Kevin Feige will tell you differently. I mean, the fact that he is now the dude that's overseeing everything for Marvel, that's big. That's a big deal.
But Sony still owns the rights.
Yeah, no, and I think that saying that will make, AT&T probably think about maybe not wanting to play that game that Marvel did where they shot themselves in the foot and they're paying someone to use the characters that they created. So I don't know what happens.
If I were to speculate with how you could save publishing for Marvel or DC, by the way, they did this back in the 90s. At one point, Marvel outsourced their books. They let other studios write the books under the Marvel banner, but it was like a third-party situation. Like, you know, as you go to some cell phone stores, they're not owned by the cell phone company. They're owned by a small business.
Yep.
Like a franchise. You can do that and still retain the rights to all your stuff. Basically, it's me saying, Omar, you own a publishing studio, right? You guys are currently doing your own book called The Adventures of Omar and Craig, right? I would like you, if we could work out a deal, I'd like you to write Spider-Man, right? And you're going to give me a cut of your sales, or I'm going to give you a cut of the sales, right? But because you're paying your artists less than I'm going to pay them, right? You're paying Craig, let's say, you know, 50 grand a year, right? Where for Marvel to even get an artist in the door, they already get the Marvel markup, right? So it might be more beneficial at a certain time to outsource books to other studios. You still retain all your rights. You're just allowing them to make money and fame off of your IP. And it's a more profitable way to run your store. That's the difference between a corporate-owned store for any company and a franchise, right? Now, there are inherent weaknesses and strengths to both ones, right? A lot of it has to do with control, right? But when you franchise something out, it still looks and feels like your thing, right? But it's definitely, there are some decisions made by the individual business owner. And they could definitely do that and retain all their rights. And they did it before. They had studios. Marvel had, I believe it was the late 90s, Marvel had studios doing books for them because they had got rid of so many writers and artists, they couldn't keep up with their book load. So they would just ask studios to do it. They'd have pay the studios to do it for them. Could go back to that model too.
But I mean, talking about models, I never thought Blockbuster would go away, and they refused to adapt. And there's one Blockbuster left in the world.
Oh, I knew Blockbuster was going to go away. Like, you could see the writing on. I don't know how comics is still here and we're not fully digital yet. I do not understand how that's happened. And
It's because of geeks.
It is because of geeks. Like, it's like they're afraid to offend the last 100,000 people reading books, right? But I mean, listen, I don't want comic shops to go. I love going to a comic shop. I love when Leslie and I go. We do that every time we travel. Right? We take a trip, whether it's here, we've done it in every country we've ever been in. Like, we've played HeroClix in France, right? And bought comics in France. We were in Paris. Like, the third thing we did after going to a couple museums, we're like, all right, we got to take a day. We got to go find some comic book shops, right? I bought some, like, I have a Captain America and Green Lantern, you know, the little breakfast plates they eat on in Europe? They're like little just plastic, like, flat things. I have one for Captain America and one for Green Lantern because I got it from Europe. Right? Breakfast boards, I think they're called. Like, we do that in every country. I don't want them to go away, but I also don't want comics to go away.
Only you can save them.
Oh, they don't want to give me that job. You don't want to give me that job. You won't have any comic stores left. You don't get no. Warner Brothers don't.
Verone likes money too much for that to happen.
Don't give me that job because I'm willing to make the hard decision.
So one of our favorite comic properties was entangled, basically in a feud between Disney and Fox when they were still separate entities. We got the wonderful Fantastic Four movie that came out that Josh Trank basically lost his Hollywood ticket after he badmouthed the movie because all the Fox executives started sticking their fingers into it.
Well, he also threw a fit and destroyed the home they were providing him.
Yeah. So Fantastic Four, in our favorite game of HeroClix, we hadn't seen since 2012. That was the last time they came out in a set. I think it was the Chaos War set, which was Avengers heavy. It had the Fantastic Four as limited edition prize kit figures.
And two super rares too.
Oh yeah, 2 super rares. Yeah.
And the last time we got the keyword was 5 years ago.
And the last time we had Human Torch and Invisible Woman was Captain America, which was. Yeah, I'll look it up right now.
Hey, Big O, can you do me a favor real quick?
What's up, brother?
I need you to put your Marvel cape on. because I'm about to ask some tough questions. I'd like you as the flag bearer to answer some questions for me.
Maybe after. Maybe after. I'm going to need to refill my drink first.
No, this is pertinent to the Fantastic Four. This is super pertinent to what we're about to talk about.
Yeah,
I need you to cape up real quick.
Well, after Sean finishes his opening.
So June of 2020, 8 years after a long wait, because mostly movie and merchandising rights, we got the Fantastic Four in a starter set, a special starter set, their new format with 2 extra maps. They threw in some scenarios and tokens with some themed dice. The Cosmic Clash starter set for Fantastic Four. And then we just got previews this week of the main set, which will have the main Fantastic Four, all the various other superheroes that have taken up one of the spots. You have, your Ghost Riders or Spider-Man, Hulk, She-Hulk. We saw X-23 in there. Yeah, Black Panther's in the starter set.
Storm.
Who?
No, Storm. I'm sure she'll be in there, but we didn't see her yet.
Wait, why is X-23 in there?
She's on one of the newer teams.
She was in the Circle of Four or something like that. Sorry, not the starter, but the Task Forces. But yeah, and then everybody was asking for God Emperor Doom from Secret Wars, so he was on the back of the booster art. So there doesn't seem to be an ultra chase, so he won't be super hard to get, but he'll still be like the most sought after chase among the. Is there?
We don't know he's the chase. Might be Galactus.
You're
but they're not Colossals though.
Galactus's foot might be a chase. Then Galactus's other foot might be another chase. Galactus's torso might be a chase.
I think the Galactus is too big to be in boosters.
Hero Build figures? Is that what we're doing?
I don't think so.
Doing?
They've done it before.
They've done it before in the Nick Fury.
But it was really small. Like they showed a size picture of him. He's pretty big. I think it's gonna be. They're gonna run the. Aren't they doing the Coming of Galactus OP event?
Yeah. So
13 years after they ran it the first time.
Happen. Yeah. So we have
13 years.
No, I'm excited. I went and bought the Cosmic Clash starter the first day, and then it has a really cool thing where they started doing scenarios again, and this time they did it through basically like a continual sequence of different scenarios on cards. So there's front and back cards that have, it starts off with the Thing fighting a bunch of,
Yancey.
small-time gang members, like Yancey gang or something like that. And then, it just it gets, more complicated, and then you can use the other figures. I think it goes up to Dr. Doom at some point where you're fighting him, but.
Yeah, Chris, you played the full thing, right?
Yes, yeah. Chris. Can I hear what that scenario game is like between you and your wife?
That game is, first of all, props to WizKids, super fun. So we're on our second time through it.
Oh, nice.
So it's like a thing where if Doom's team wins, the bad guys win, you go to this scenario. If the good guys win, you go to this scenario. It follows a loosely tied together plot. Right, very like 60s, 70s, 80s comic booky. Like, this happens, and then look what's happening while this happens, and it's super fun. Feels pretty balanced so far. Like our first time through, for the final game came down to Human Torch killing Doom while Human Torch was on his last click, and he was the last figure standing for the FF. And the second time through, by the second scenario, we already have a different output because the bad guys won the second scenario. So we're on a different mission than we were on the first time through. Really well thought out. I felt like the $35 was well worth the price, especially after I opened the Justice League one. It didn't have any of that stuff in it, and it was all digital.
Well, you can
So
print it.
while WizKids gets the big thumbs up on one, they get the big donkey of the day on the other one, because that's some straight up assholery. And I hope whoever decided to do that trips and falls and gets hit with a whole bag of sex toys all up in their face. Blah 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 blah. Used ones too, like dirty used sex toys all in their face. Yeah, I really do. That's some straight up assholery. It feels like they made the F4 one first and like put all their thought into it, and then it feels like they were like, "Oh, we should totally do this for this other starter we made."
That was just tacked on.
But it was tacked on, right? So
No, it's just like regular WizKids / Marvel / DC relationship. Marvel gets all the sets and the greatest pieces that we all want, and the most obscure characters. And then what does DC get? Just the OP characters and 2 sets versus
timeout.
7, you know?
Batman the Animated Series was a fantastically done set with very few meta pieces and great from top to bottom, and the chase theme was money.
Well, that's because
Really well done set.
the amount of love for that show. If they had done anything bad, there would have been a revolt.
Yeah, we say that, but Clicks players don't revolt. Let's be honest. We all play Clicks. Clicks players are some of the dumbest gamers in the earth.
Well, I mean, we play Clicks because we want to have a dumb game. We don't want to get out like tape measures and stuff.
I don't mean that. I just mean like we're like lambs to the slaughter. WizKids put something out, everybody complains, and everybody still buys 4 of them.
Yep.
Does that not happen?
Always.
I mean, Randy was complaining about this set and how much money has he spent on it?
I mean,
3 cases.
He bought 3 cases of Justice League?
Yeah.
So the
Yeah.
about
That
this,
doesn't include
Why?
singles.
the point that Frone's making about how HeroClix players are just like the guys that just keep on giving their debit card and credit card to the strippers. Like that's what
Yeah.
HeroClix are, because they just keep slipping us drinks and keep getting jacked, and then we just keep giving them their card. They just go to the
We don't
Randy-
even go to the champagne room. This is out on the general floor.
the fact that they're just printing out. They're not even printing out. They're like, fuck it. We're not even going to make pieces. We're just going to print out cards and give you more powers. How crazy is it that they're printing up paper and people are spending $50 to $100 on that shit? And they have like, of each of the main Justice League characters and a few of the in Justice League, they have like almost like 5 to 11 different types of cards that you may need to get. And many of us are completionists.
Yeah, there's 99 total.
Many of you guys are. You are the worst of.
I thought there's like
among us.
120 total.
Is it up to that? I was told there was 99.
I think it's up to 120.
That was a money grab for sure. I give them credit for their creative money grab, right? like that's a creative money grab, right? Like when they're hitting you with it, when they unfurl it and just pop you in the jaw with it, at least they do it from different angles so you don't see it coming, right? Pun intended. So, it's I don't know. The Justice League set, I made the mistake of opening my Fantastic Four starter first. So I was like, yeah, this set is cool. I mean, Superman and Batman are in it as usual. I was happy for it, but then I wasn't, because I want that F4. I want that F4 set. But it's great because after F4, the Spider-Man set comes out, I don't have to participate. Just like the last Spider-Man set, I didn't participate. I have like 5 Earth X pieces, and that's it.
You don't like Venom?
No.
You're a Venom guy.
I don't like angry. So I don't like angry, souped up Spider-Man. No. And then I don't like the derivative of the derivative. Absolutely not. I'm good. And then here's the thing. I'm just good on Spider-Man sets. Like, I want F4 because it's different than Justice League, Avengers, Batman, X-Men, or a subset of one of those things. That's what we've got
they just keep on recycling it over.
It's been like 10 years. The Fantastic Four hasn't fronted a set since the pre-carded era. Hasn't fronted a set. Comics First Family. The reigniting of the comic book industry. Like one of the most historic franchises has not. And Omar, can I sidebar real quick? A sidebar? Sean, I'm asking you. You're the moderator.
Okay.
We
All right.
talk about how Marvel cut off the Fantastic Four and all that shit. That is some baby back bullshit. Because I didn't see them cutting Spider-Man's ass off when they lost the rights to him, though, did they? No. They cut the Fantastic Four off because nobody gave a shit. That's some
It's
bullshit.
because he made money.
And I'm sick of people complaining, oh, they cut the Fantastic Four off. It's so nice to have them back. They could have cut Spider-Man off. They didn't make that change.
Spider-Man's merchandise outsells
I understand why they
all
didn't
the other
do it.
heroes combined.
Well, they tried to cut off the X-Men, and then they started to lose money, and they're like, wait, we got to rethink this.
No, I get why they did it.
Yeah, they try to make Inhumans a thing.
Like, it's just, oh, God. It's just messed up how they picked on the Fantastic Four for the longest time.
And the best character of the Fantastic Four, obviously Victor Van Doom. We're so
okay, yes.
Marvel's Stan Lee's greatest creation, Marvel's main hero, is back in our universe. So I can't wait to have God Doom. Oh, it's gonna be so good.
I'm so sad they burned Idris Elba on a stupid Thor character. He would have been a good Doom. No. Awesome. No, Idris Elba would crush it at Doom. You're out of your goddamn mind.
I don't know.
Amazing.
Okay, so when I'm thinking about this FF set, I'm thinking about obviously Secret Wars, because really that's what this is going to be built around. I think they're going to do probably some old school shit, but they're going to also fill in that Secret Wars battle world.
That gaping hole for a set that should have never been made without the Fantastic Four. Yes.
Oh, but you know what?
they better plug all those holes. Yeah.
Oh my God! But if
stories that were there, it was pretty much like, for the most part, it was the crescendo of Jonathan Hickman's Fantastic Four run. So that's what Secret Wars was. And if you look at how amazing that Secret Wars story kind of was fleshed out, not the HeroClix set, I'm saying, we can expect big things for the X-Men. I'm not necessarily recovering too much of the X-Men. I'm reading like X-Force, that's about it. But back to the Fantastic Four HeroClix set. I'm most excited. We have to have a badass Molecule Man that is the pretty much the power battery for God Doom, because he ate all the Beyonders. He ate them all like burgers. That's got to be.
Can't he do all the things a molecule can?
I mean, Molecule
he can
Man.
do everything a particle can.
He's definitely OP, and he's never really had a solid, sweet HeroClix piece, I don't think.
He had a good one for a minute. I think back in the day, one of the older ones was pretty decent. I mean, hold on. You talking about good like he has to be on the meta table good, or good like he's fun and comic accurate?
I mean, it's got to be meta now.
HeroClix doesn't have to be meta. That's
no, I think you can be just under meta, where you can be badass and your local
Starter Doom isn't meta. Starter Doom's not meta. He's awesome though.
He could be a killer at 200 points with the right team.
I don't know. Craig's been telling me about the meta. It seems like a place nobody wants to go. It's like the seedy underbelly. It's like the meta's like the comic shops that still don't have lights.
DC is finally meta in a long time.
Hey Craig, what is the meta builds right now for GLU look like right
now? Not using JLU. The meta build is
it's Prime Batman that can shoot across the board and a handful of Dr. Fates.
The prime meta from JLU is a whole bunch of Wonder Twins, so you can bury her in and hope that Black Widow doesn't come and just beat the tar out of you.
You know what HeroClix could benefit from? Going back to the 3x3 maps.
It's not going to happen.
Because you can get across the board in one turn now and hit somebody. That's not fun.
Yeah, but there's still strategy in it. If it's 3x3.
There'd still be strategy. People would be able to move up without fear, oh my God, if I move 2 squares out of my starting area, I'm going to get killed. Can you imagine a game where that doesn't happen? Of course you can. You're all dirty heathens. All 3 of you, dirty heathens. You should play the campaign game. It's really fun. And that should replace Skirmish as tournaments.
100%. Skirmish is trash.
The campaign should replace Skirmish as tournaments.
Never tried Skirmish. So I have no idea
Then
how it works.
you have been lucky, sir.
Yeah, it's just more reason to use
It's
pink on a
on.
map.
Yeah, it's on the DC map in the JLU starter, which
It's
is
map,
also
it's
the
map
OP
litter.
map. It's not
Map
good.
litter. That's all it is. It's litter on my maps. I have a question for HeroClix. Maybe you guys can enlighten me, since you guys obviously play way more than I do. So the high-end HeroClix market, right? And I don't mean the actual clicks. I mean people that actually, would spend money on things. Do you think clicks is suffering a little bit because we've never got 3D terrain like we should have a long time ago, like buildings and stuff? Because you look at the wargamer market, and they have, they're exploding, while our little game stays about the same.
No, I have a lot of questions about what it would take to make HeroClix become like. Magic isn't going to happen. Let's be honest; it's never going to get that big. But like Warhammer, maybe.
There's no reason we can't have 3D buildings at all. There's no reason.
I think the big thing is that that HeroClix players, I don't think they're fully understanding of how much people are willing to pay. I mean, we know a guy
They got to
who
be.
could,
They're buying cards for $200.
right. We know a guy who could move out of his parents' house if he didn't spend all this money on clicks.
He could also podcast with us.
He's
Yeah,
too shy.
No, he's
Who lives
going
in
to
the
buy clicks right now.
Who lives in
Right
his town?
now,
We
like
won't,
this very moment.
I
Instead
think
of
he-
podcasting with us.
Wait, does
he's
he
at
live
a
in his
shop.
parents' house, or is he using his job to support his parents as part of the family?
No, he's living in his parents' house. His parents are trying to get him out, but he spends that
Is that
money
what's
on
happening?
clicks.
You sure he's not helping support the family?
No, 100%. His parents are fine. He's trying to. He said they want him to move out. He wants them clicks.
I just want people to know. I want that person to know I tried to stick up for them. I totally
want
tried
him to
stick up for
know
them.
that if he wants to stick up for himself, he should come on here instead of finding ways to bitch out because he's going to buy HeroClix when he already has a full set, but he wants 15
No.
Brainiacs.
He's got to buy more
He
HeroClix
also-
because any messed up paint jobs has got to get swapped, and everyone else is hip to that game now.
He has a Michigan twin that I'm friends with who buys almost the same amount.
that's insane. I just don't understand it. Like
Of-
the fact that you can think you can afford to buy this into this game where, first of all, it's only going to be hot shit until the next set comes out, and it's then after that it's like not going to be worth shit. Well, maybe like instead of $100, it'll be worth like $40, right? That's just the way it goes. But like,
Mhm.
it needs to have the eyes look at you right, and the card not have one little scratch in it. Like that's OCD.
That's a problem. That's a problem. I mean, listen, I'm not saying I don't go big on some click sets. I went pretty big on Captain America and the Avengers. I think I did. No, I actually didn't go big. I think I did 2 cases.
That's a good amount though.
That's a good amount.
I had 3 cases, but I got Peggy in my first case, so I sold one of my extra cases to one of the local guys.
Well, that's cool.
Once I had Peggy, it was a wrap. I was like, I'm good. Like,
Nice.
like everything else I want in the set, I'll get just naturally. What's the last set I went big? I'm trying to think of the last set I went like insane on. I didn't get that much X-Men. I think I bought 1 case of X-Men. No, I didn't buy a case of X-Men. I bought a CUR set of singles and colossals, and then filled out super rares by trading.
Craig, how much do you buy?
Right now I pretty much buy most sets. I buy a brick to a case at most, and then I trade or buy singles.
Hey, Craig, how much you used to buy when we all lived in the same area?
I mean, I used to buy 2 cases a set.
Oh,
I
no,
think I think the answer to my question when I asked Craig this, it's kind of exploratory, because I remember this one guy that looks kind of like you, Craig, that I used to play with on a weekly basis. This motherfucker would walk up to someone with $200 and say, "Hey, after the after the after the tournament, do you want $200 for that piece?"
Well, that was
Motherfucker. I was like, I wanted to buy that.
that was specific pieces. My problem is that I have waifus with HeroClix pieces, and I'm like, I love this character. I will pay
What's a
above what I
waifu?
should.
What's a waifu?
Just so like it's characters that like you're obsessed with. So it's like you and Kat.
Oh, okay.
Female.
Hold on.
characters
Whoa.
That
Don't
he's
compare me to
obsessed
you. I still did not overpay for Hydra Cap.
Because you convinced me and Arjung and Josh to keep buying stuff till we pulled
That is,
it.
first of all, time out. Wait.
How many packs?
Hey,
How many packs?
No. Wait. He's
How
lying.
many packs?
He's lying. Let me tell this story.
You do
'cause
not
he's lying.
remember the back room of
No, I remember the back room. He's lying. So that set came out. We played a conspiracy. Duckworth pulled Captain America. I offered him like more than I've ever offered
way
someone
more
for a
than way
chase.
more than he
like
was worth.
$80, right? I was like, here, this is like day one. I was like, let me give you $89. The first time I've ever done that to somebody too. He was like, no, I'm good. Craig then went and offered him even more money without telling me, just so I can get the piece for Hydra Cap. We then get to Game Castle, Mountain View, RIP. And these guys decided to keep buying cases until we pulled the Hydra Cap because they felt bad that I didn't have one. Because as Omar and anyone can attest, if someone's favorite character was a chase and I pulled it, I usually gave it to them anyway. Like, oh, it's your favorite character? Cool, take one. I'm pretty generous when it comes to giving out HeroClix. Unless it's Captain America, then you can kiss my ass.
Yeah, pretty
Especially with Josh and Arjang, I make sure they always get their favorite characters. Like, I got Josh a Venom Hulk. He's a Hulk fan. I just got Venom Hulk like 3 weeks ago for the first time. Like, I've never owned that piece.
It's crazy that guy's still selling for like $50, man.
Dude, what the F, man? He never dropped below like $50. Set's been retired for. There are some pieces that just sit there and you're like, all right, set's retired. Let's go. Let me get this $25 piece.
Be fair, that's all Patrick. If Patrick didn't have Bronze Age, those pieces would be worth garbage. But Bronze Age is
Venom Hulk's good in Bronze Age? Oh, who knew?
because you can teleport across the map with Mojo, and then you're doing 5 damage for
everything you say is teleport across the map, and it makes me sad.
That's what the game is right now.
I know, it just makes me sad that we can't figure something else out. Like, it went from you stay in your starting area to hypersonic yo-yo to we're going to go across the map. There's no happy medium in between.
To be fair, Batman doesn't have to go across the map.
He can just shoot across the map, right?
Really quick, I just remembered something while I was in my bourbon high earlier. I was talking about how WizKids was like so shysty because they're just selling regular paper cards. Like before, they used to make these beautiful plastic, semi-holographic.
Oh, the ID cards.
Cards, and they were beautiful, and they were like sweet. Like people were like, "There's like weight to it," and the fact that they are just showing how just.
You know what the one downside to ID cards were? That art rubbed off really easy.
Yeah,
I got a bunch of jank ID cards that I left in a stack in a case that rattle around when you carry it. There's a bunch of scratches on them. At least with the janky cards they're giving out now, at least you can put them in a card sleeve.
There's powder for that, bro. You just gotta like dry your hands a little bit,
Ah, dude, they were rubbing against each other. And listen, I got oily skin. That's part of my Mediterranean heritage. F your couch. Also, why I don't get pimples. They slide right off my face. They just go right off my face. Slide. I sweat olive oil, homie. Because I'm
glad ID cards. Yeah, I'm glad ID cards are getting rotated out.
You know what's hilarious about ID cards?
That was
I remember
the meta for the last 2 years.
It was, but 2 years before that, it was resources. Resources, straight up, when ID cards came out, everybody was like, oh, these are poop. They're trash. Nat and I played a game. For those listeners and viewers, Nat is literally the godfather of HeroClix for the West Coast. I'm expanding his realm. Nat's like super OG HeroClix guy. God bless his heart for actually probably being the reason all of us know each other. Am I incorrect in that?
I would say that it's close between Nat and Omar for how we know each other. Because Omar
I
brought
only
the
know
two
Omar
sides
because
together.
I only know Omar because of Nat.
No, but I'm saying like Nat and Omar
I know
together
Omar
brought
'cause
the
of
two
Omar.
sides together. If two sides together, they linked up.
So we played ID cards
We
without
are
playing
no longer
resources or
family
anything.
friendly.
We played ID cards, and we were like, "Yo, these seem really good for 5 points." But at that time, it was all about possessors and freaking
The
whatchamacallit,
batteries.
and all the batteries and all that nonsense. Soon as that shit got rotated out, people were like, "Oh my god, ID cards are the most broken ever. They're the most brokens. Oh, the internet's gonna burn down." A month before that, people were like, "ID cards suck." That's why I say fuck the meta.
But I mean, now people are already
Ruined the whole game
complaining
of
about.
HeroClix.
Everybody's complaining about Colossal Retaliators being too broken when they were poop a few months ago, just because it's everything else got rotated out. Team up cards are going to be broken when Colossal Retaliators get broken. It's just people who play HeroClix like to bitch about things.
That brings up a good thing I wanted to talk about. Have you guys read the Human Torch's dial from the starter?
Kind of looked over it.
Oh, so
I
the answer is
don't
no.
remember
The answer is
it.
no. Omar's answer is
No.
Okay, so his special power is if he moves adjacent to or through other characters, at the end of that movement, or after actions resolved, he can deal 1 penetrating damage to a character he moved through or moved past.
Adjacent to.
Right?
Yeah.
So
SR Captain Marvel and the Captain America set does.
It's
something
worded a
similar.
little bit differently than hers.
So super good power to go with his poison. On a certain click, he has that hypersonic, because that's a trait. He has hypersonic, and he also has poison he can use after being moved or placed. Seems like a good combo, right?
Yep.
So I'm reading a forum today, and someone's complaining because the way the Torch's power is worded, if there's no one else he can target besides a friendly, the friendly person would take the 1 penetrating damage, right? AKA he can carry. For that one action, that one time when you have no one else to hit. I feel like that's a reasonable drawback for a power that's a very anti-stop click power.
Just, again, people with HeroClix like to bitch.
You can only not carry if he's adjacent to a character. Like if he's adjacent to one of his teammates, he carries them. If there's no other targets for that pass-through power, then he has to deal them 1 click. First of all, that's your bet on the positioning. Second of all, is it really that big of a drawback? It seems awfully situational.
Well, there's some clicks you want to push them off if they're like top
Right.
click.
And the character he's carrying can't have invincible. If they have invincible, it doesn't matter.
It can be advantageous depending on your build.
I think it's a great piece. Good thing he doesn't
Yeah.
start on that hypersonic poison click. That would be bad.
Hey,
Yeah,
Sean,
what?
I have a question for you. So, like, I recently saw you playing Clicks with Heidi.
Yeah.
How was that?
It was good. We were testing the Batman Fates build against each other. We both ran JLU. I had the starter Manhunter for an additional. Yeah, thanks, Craig. For an additional action total. A few Fates, the Question, and Prime Batman. I don't remember if I had anyone else, but yeah, it was. Oh, we had a bunch of the Super Friends on our sideline. We each had 3 or 4, but yeah, to combat he had like 10 or 11 Fates that I had to deal with, and midway through the game, I didn't think I had it because the Mystics damage would have, killed my whole team eventually. So the Aquaman and his stupid little fishes that spawn, that was clutch because I missed 3 times in a row. So he came onto the map for free. He spawns water, and then he can generate fish in the water squares, and they just started force blasting. So Heidi picked the wrong map where there was some blocking in like almost like a mini corridor. So just the fish just started slapping Fates into walls and killing them. So
The The Fates already have Mystics on them?
The Fates have Mystics. So
Okay.
the first one has to be 65 points. The other ones are 10 points each. And they all have enhancement on their dials. And Mystics.
And Prob, I'm sure, right?
No problem.
Not the template.
Enhancement.
They have TK though. They all have TK and enhancement.
Damn.
Pop would be gross.
I think are they flyers, Greg?
Yes, and face cell.
Yeah, face tell and flyers. So for the additional ones at 10 points, you're just rocking. You're rocking 4 to 5 damage on your shots. It's gross.
What was it like playing though physically? Because I mean, I could say that maybe not more than, out of all the states, a lot of comic shops, the ones that are still around are game shops. At least the ones here that I'm in Dallas, they haven't even started doing gaming yet. So
we haven't done gaming yet. I actually just stopped by the comic shop today, and they said they're not gonna open gaming until the movie theaters start opening up. They feel whenever that happens, it'll be a safer time. But we have our stay-at-home order was semi-lifted. So now you can have like gatherings of less than 10 people. Like you've been able to do that for the last 2 weeks. Craig, don't abuse your wiener.
Yo.
But yeah, it felt good to roll dice. I've met up with Heidi, I think twice now, and just getting our teams out and rolling dice. Yeah, it's a good feeling.
And Craig, have you been playing like on Roll20, like on regular?
Roll20, yes.
Yeah.
Roll20 is not the same, man. Like I had to sub in for Craig once, but yeah, it's
Roll20 isn't great, but it's something when you don't have other options.
Shit,
Throne loves Roll20 though.
Yeah, all I'm doing is I'm fucking looking at my clicks and like fantasizing about how the builds I'm gonna do, and then I fucking just like end up never playing them, and then I have to change them out, rotate them into my other little box because I never played them, So
do you just touch them and then you start crying like halfway through?
How much were you playing before COVID?
Maybe once or twice every 2 months.
Oh, so you weren't playing that much to begin with.
No, not a lot.
That's less than me.
Oh, really?
And I don't play that much. Yeah, we started a sealed league. So that was their way of getting me in at least once a month.
Oh, that's cool.
Because I hate constructed. I despise it. And we have like no law constructed at our venue because everyone's in varying stages of collecting, so we don't try to exclude anybody. So it's pretty much golden age. And they like playing higher point builds, like 500 points plus in golden age with not a lot of restrictions. It gets just weird. Like it turns into a lot of tricks, right? Like I'll pull this trick off today, but I will be down for some sealed whenever. I'll show up for sealed 3 days a week.
Yeah, I love sealed. Just I don't have
sealed.
to deal with constructed BS meta teams.
JLU, because of Fate, has a ton of value. They're selling for $5 to $10 online.
Jokers also are selling for like $6, I think.
Yeah, that's for 2 commons. That's
and then the team up cards, team up cards range from $5 to $80.
Yeah, I mean,
right, and Amazo's a common.
Case of JLU may be one of the best investments in a lot of sets.
Yeah, because the chases range from like 50 to 120 right now.
Right, which usually is almost all the value in the set.
Dark Side's like 50 something.
Yeah, the rest of the super rares are already below. Like I got a bunch of them for $10, outside of Dark Side because I pulled him. But if you look at the total value in the set, having 2 commons that sell for over $5 each, even for a second week of a set being out, it's not unheard of, but it's definitely rare.
And Amazo's not that far off.
Is Amazo not that far off?
No.
Like one of fucking Amazo's cards are selling. There's not many of them that are selling less than $50. So, and he's crazy. There's a lot of things he can do. And Craig says he's boring, but there's a lot of opportunity because he can start at 4 lines, he can play for either in Justice League or Justice League, and I think the fact that there's enough prob, you don't have to care. You don't even care about the theme team, so you can mix.
And then you play Widow, and he's just a blank dial.
Well, that Widow is stupid. I think most of those movie Gravity feeds, they're gonna have 2 or 3 pieces. They're just crazy.
Gotta sell them. God, a rare Amazos, $20
Mm-hmm.
for a rare?
Mm-hmm.
I don't know. I might have to go second case.
He's like a
Just
one-man army
flip some
outside
stuff.
of meta.
I might just flip some crap.
Yeah, even if you just trade for them, like if you buy and then trade, like I only got like 6 packs, and I got really lucky because they just.
You got really lucky.
I got really lucky. I got a Chase, and I got
That's good.
2 SRs and like 4 team up cards, and I flipped
Which chase
that.
you get?
Black Vulcan.
Oh, the best chase.
Yeah, I flipped it to get. Huh?
Isn't Black Vulcan the most expensive chase?
Brainiac.
No,
Oh, Brainiac.
Brainiac's 120.
yeah, no, Black Vulcan. He's dope. He's a dope piece, but I just knew I'd never use him, so
Right.
I flipped it. Black Queen with the champ George. Thanks.
Yeah, I might have to get. I think my local venue does 25% off standard on cases, so I might go grab another one and just.
I love
say
how
what it
Sean
is.
still has his pack. Was that just a blind pack, or was that part of your case?
No, I went in and bought because me and Heidi both went into one of the shops to buy bricks, and we both pulled Crimson Avenger, which means you have no chase. So we knew there was 2 bricks sitting there with chases. So I ran in yesterday and started buying packs, and then he just straight up bought a straight brick. So I pulled the Brainiac, and he pulled Lex Luthor.
Oh, that's awesome.
Yeah,
That is awesome. I was not overexcited with my chase. I think I got Grodd.
Grot? No, he's like $80.
He's 90.
90.
Oh, yeah.
Well,
I wanted
yeah,
Lex. I wanted Lex because I like Lex.
Yeah, your Grot's worth more than Lex. You could get Lex and an extra if you want to trade.
Yeah, I've got so much back stock right now. Like I'm sitting on a second Ultra Chase Peggy Carter that's in Leslie's trunk. I pulled her. So I was our last game of the season for our sealed season. And of course, once Cap came out, that's all I bought for the season. Because what we do is you buy boosters, you write down what you buy, and then you can use that for team building later. But you do it buy boosters every month, and you can only play a character twice. I mean, I pulled Peggy, and I'm like, if I don't play her, I feel like I needed to win 2 of the 3 games to win the season. And I'm like, I feel like if I don't play Peggy, I'm going to get punished by karma. So, like, once I opened her, I was like, oh, cool. So I'm going to play. I have a good chance of winning the season. And the prize for our season was a set of the Mandarin rings.
Oh, that's dope.
Still haven't collected yet, but I think I have another set, but I got to find it.
Yeah, I think both me and Craig, our teams placed high enough, so we have sets of the Mandarin rings from Worlds.
But Metaclick sucks. Next time I see all you guys, we're going to play a giant scenario. It'll be a blast.
I'm down with it.
Omar, why don't you just have the missus play the scenario with you?
Yeah, well, she's too competitive. I think I told you that before.
Dude, so is mine. She throws dice across the table. You play cooperative with her in the scenario. So here's how you set it up. You control the Doom team, right? But you also consult on all the good guy stuff. You're playing against the scenario. That's how you got to sell it, brother. You just against the scenario. Honey, we're playing against the scenario. The game is bad.
Find a way where
just pandemic it.
Yeah, she's gonna win, and she's gonna take like freaking 15 to 20 minutes per turn. Like Alan, hi Alan, how are you?
Oh, first of all, that's cold-blooded. I'm pretty sure he's down to like 9 minutes. Second of all,
no, Alan's one of the fastest people in Quicks right now.
What?
Yeah, like Quicks is all about slow people now.
Huh. No, Alan's chaos. He's over in H-Town.
You see him a lot?
No, I haven't seen him yet. I try to get together with him, but I was gonna get approval for getting some game time because usually we go to H-Town, it's for Shauna's family. So
You gotta spring for a day early.
yeah, man.
Like I gotta tell you gotta get there a day early. If I'm ever at headquarters, I'll come visit. I'll bring Clicks with me.
Well, I mean, we were supposed to be. I think like 2 months ago, we were planning to be in LA, and specifically Orange County. Of course, pre-COVID plans, and we were
Right.
going to Galaxy's Edge. We were all going to be clicksing and going to coffee bars and hanging out with Mickey and Minnie, and of course, taking amazing selfies in the Star Wars cantina. That would have been
He
amazing.
was going to go to Vietnamese
Hey.
coffee bars.
That Rancor beer flight is super dope. Not the beer part, just the cool cups you get and the little stand that comes with them. It's super nice.
Would you guys be down to instead of making it California, do Florida since it's open already?
Wait, is the hotel open yet?
It's opening up because of the NBA.
The Star Wars role playing hotel? Because I need that shit.
Oh, no, that's not open yet.
That's like next year. You know that, right? Like soon, where you get to wear costumes inside,
That's insane.
and they give you like a story to
Craig
follow.
will go if you can meet Natalie Portman.
Well, I have a question. How hot is it in Florida right now?
Oh,
It's like
my
105
God.
degrees here right now in Texas.
It doesn't matter because we're always going to stay in the hotel
Of course.
because they make you wear costumes in the hotel, and you have a story you follow. That's that shit. I'm about that life.
Like, how hot is
I'll
it?
robe it up.
Is
I'll
it
wear
really
nothing
hot
but
in
a thick
Florida?
robe
Like,
and no underwear.
like take your shirt off in Florida?
They have the ocean there, so it cools off.
I know where this is going. This is going somewhere nobody wants to go.
Yeah, nobody wants to go there.
Nobody.
Only Craig does.
Just Craig.
Just Craig.
Just Craig.
This is why we fear the day Craig is moderating and just talking about Sean taking his shirt off the whole
Craig
time.
will be talking about the quality of cotton t-shirts.
It's not so much about Sean taking his shirt off. It's about the unwillingness of
so
Sean to take his shirt off.
Just so you all
Craig talking
know,
him into
it's
it.
not just me. He also does this to the Cote brothers.
You mean Sweet Cheeks Cote and Honey Lips Cote?
We just lost all our viewership.
Yeah. That's 3 people. Well,
Well, we had a good little run, 7 episodes in.
Hey, Ferone. Ferone, you wanna turn your chair around before you bend over next time?
So we did have another topic besides this, right?
I don't remember what it was.
Sean, how many of those Corona ices did you have, bro?
No, this is a Bud Light, man.
Oh, okay. Bud Light, what flavor is that? Is it like Bud Light, like wild or what?
Lime.
Looks like oh, okay.
so
It
weird.
was their first one. They have a variety pack out now, so you can try the other flavors.
How many
The
claws
lemonade's
have you
a little
drank
too
this
tart.
week?
What?
How many claws have you drank this week?
0. Wait, hold on. No, 0. Because I was at Heidi's on Saturday. Heidi loves White Claws. Even his girlfriend makes fun of him for it. So I drank 1 of those and 4 buds. Yeah.
Was this the same girlfriend that kept trying to talk you into a threesome?
No. His girlfriend was trying to
These
get
are real
some from
people. This is going
Heidi,
to be on the internet.
but
These are
Heidi
real
really
people.
wanted to click, so he
Oh my God.
This is what you got, Brown.
I'm wearing. Man, I can't mess with y'all. Y'all be on some wild shit. Lander's talking about real people that exist.
took clicks over his girlfriend.
Well, I do love the fact that we are only 7 episodes in and we already have lost episodes. So that's pretty amazing.
No, that episode's not going to become unlost.
Word. Unless Anonymous releases it.
There you go.
Yeah,
Gotta-
nobody wants to watch.
Isn't our third topic talking about how Craig is an absolute a-hole for giving Wonder Woman a 4 out of 10?
I tried to rewatch it. It's more like a 3.5.
Wow.
It went down again.
Yeah, I can't get through it. I can't
I
get
don't
through
know.
like 10 minutes.
It doesn't make any sense.
Omar,
Makes
what
no
was our
sense.
third topic?
Our third topic was something that's related to Craig and horror movies.
Oh, yeah, so
Netflix.
a lot of the classic horror movies. So I'm not saying like classic, although those are out. Psycho and the original Black Christmas and things are on Hulu, but a lot of the like 90s psychological horror movies. So Cape Fear, Silence of the Lambs, and things like that are on Netflix this month. So if you guys are still trapped inside or aren't able to go out, and you've seen a lot of the references on Treehouse of Horror and other things, watch watch those. I think probably everybody here has seen Silence of the Lambs, I think.
Yeah, I need to revisit that. That one's that one's just classic. Yeah.
Corona's being very suspiciously quiet.
Hello, Clarice. Which I don't think he ever says in the movie, right?
He says, "Is this Clarice? Why, hello,
Yeah.
Clarice."
Yeah.
So that's out. But Cape Fear, which has been one of the kind of biggest movies for starting the thriller genre, is out. But I think most people know it more from a Sideshow Bob episode of The Simpsons than actually the movie. So I would highly recommend, if you get the chance, to watch Cape Fear. And
I have not seen it.
Yes, and to realize when Robert De Niro was actually tried as an actor. I think he's still a good actor, but actually tried.
Nick Nolte was amazing too in that movie.
Mm-hmm. And what's her name? Juliet something, who played their daughter, who everybody thought was going to take off after that movie, and then just never did.
I forget her name, but yeah, that's what I did.
But Sean loves Cape Fear.
Cape Fear?
Right.
Okay, I'll check it out.
It was Patricia Arquette. Wasn't she the daughter?
I am looking it up right now. It is Juliette Lewis.
Oh, she had a couple jobs.
She looks like her.
She does. Yeah, she had a couple jobs, but she got nominated for an Academy Award at 18 for that movie.
Isn't that Daniel Day-Lewis's cousin?
I do not know, but yeah, it's whenever like you're that young, and you people expect you to take off, but we all can't be Natalie Portman and be nominated at a young age and then actually hold up to it.
Yeah,
and then try to kill multiple franchises
and just stay the same height and stay the same cup size and have the same 12-year-old voice. And it's just really gross that you love her.
I'm telling you, go watch V for Vendetta.
No, I'd like to watch No for no more Natalie Portman.
Gal Gadot would never shave her head for a movie.
I don't want to watch a movie where Gal Gadot shaves her head.
Yeah, I want to watch a movie where she just shaves me.
What movie she shave her head for?
V for Vendetta.
Oh God, yeah. Take your Guy Fieri mask and stick it somewhere.
It was Guy Fawkes.
Guy Fieri, Guy Fawkes. It was a guy and a half.
V for Vendetta.
Look at me, Mr. Rebel.
To be fair, V for Vendetta, it's not a good movie.
I liked it better than the comic.
We know that Captain America is Frone's favorite big time hero guy. Who's yours, Craig? Because I feel like Gambit. Okay. And
he said big time, not D-list.
Hey, he had the biggest Marvel storyline of the year this year.
On a year where Marvel was terrible. So pick someone mainstream.
He still wins.
And what about you, Sean? Who's your guy?
Superhero wise?
Superhero wise.
Jughead.
No,
Or
it's
your
not Jughead.
or your girl.
It used to be Spider-Man until Quesada messed up Spider-Man. Then it was Batman for a while. It might be Red Hood right now.
That's cool.
Jason
That's
Todd, yeah.
Yeah, obviously for me it's Doom. So I can't wait for his revival. I'm so excited to see his appearance in the next Black Panther movie, I think. Or he actually might even be, he might have a cameo in, what is it? Not in, what's the next? So Black Widow is the next movie, and then after that is Shang-Chi. Is that right?
Is
No, it's
Eternals before Shang-Chi?
Eternals.
Yeah.
Eternals before
Eternals.
Shang-Chi.
Then Shang-Chi.
Then Shang-Chi.
Yeah, we'll see. We'll see. I'm hearing it's either going to be Kang or Doom that's going to be like the side hero, big hero, but I don't know. We'll see.
Shang-Chi's gonna be dope. Unless he wears shoes, then it's gonna suck.
Kang
What,
is
what?
too hard to do in movie form.
Unless he wears shoes.
Well, I mean,
A
they've
lot
already
of old schools.
traveled, so I think that he opens things up, and he also has connection to bring in the Fantastic Four, you know?
But I mean, because then you have to bring in, like, to make full sense of it, you have to do the Young Avengers on top of it. You have to do Eternal stuff. You have to do more Infinity. It's Kang. I like the character. It gets very messy.
I mean, is Kang someone
Feige
anyone
will
cares enough
streamline
about
it.
to not change?
I mean,
Right?
Feige
Like,
changes stuff up, like, to
Right,
the
it's
point
Kang.
where, yeah.
Like, it's Kang. Like, isn't he changeable? Like,
He,
does anyone care enough about Kang? Like, if they're gonna make changes,
No
I'd
one
rather
cares.
them change Kang and not change Doom, or make minor changes to Doom.
I was shocked at the number, like, when I talk to comic book people about, like, the hardcore Young Avengers fans. Like, I'm shocked at how, like, creepily, like, religious that following is.
Well, because they're the medium aged Avengers, right? Like, they came out what 20 years ago, 15 years ago,
I was gonna say more than 20.
Yeah,
more than
they were
20
the
years ago,
Runaways for the 90s.
right?
Yeah,
so
I was
they're
gonna say
older now.
30.
So they're like adults now.
I mean, Peter Parker's been in high school for how many years now?
Peter Parker has his own business that Dr. Octopus got for him. Shout out to Schenectady, Dr. Octopus. Got for him, and then
New
Peter
Horizons Lab.
tried to bamboozle his way and not tell nobody that wasn't his degree he got, and then got outed as he should have.
That's why
Spider-Man's a mess.
well, no, he's not a mess. He's actually pretty good in at least the Ghost Spider series I'm reading, because he's just a professor, and he works as a mentor for Gwen Stacy from not from Earth 616, but from whatever multiverse she's from. So
The Spider Gwen Stacy.
I like Superior Doom. I'm happy that it took a body swap for a fat man to get fit.
But I mean, I think Wolverine is probably the most messed up Marvel character right now. They don't know what they're doing with him.
But he started out that way, so it's okay.
He's messier than he's ever been right now.
But I mean, he started out that way, so it's okay.
I
Like,
still
think
think
about it. His main superpower is he cannot catch an STD.
I really think, well, he can catch it. He just cures himself of it.
Cures it. So, no permanency.
But I mean, I still
Like,
think
his blood
Wolverine
has Magic Johnson's money running through it.
I mean, people have a lot of arguments about if Peter going to college was the most messed up thing. Peter getting married, all of this. I still think Wolverine Origins was the worst step that Marvel ever did for a character after Brand New Day. Brand New Day was the worst decision anyone could ever make.
I know a bunch of people that would agree with you about Wolverine Origins.
I was very disappointed in Wolverine Origins because
The whole thing
that was
about
so
the character.
hyped. Yeah, it was so
Were you
hyped because
disappointed that he was an aristocrat?
I was
Or
disappointed. Go ahead.
That him and Sabretooth may share a dad, or that they made his dad look just like it? Like, what was the disappointment from? I'd like to, let's dig deeper into your disappointment. Let's
For
explain.
me, so that character was all about the mystery behind him, and so it's the same as like prequel horror movies. Like Prometheus killed the Alien franchise for me because like it was cool not knowing where these things came from. It's just like these killer machines that adapt to everything and are amazing. When you tell me too much about it, it kills the character. And Wolverine, I'm cool with him never knowing. I'm cool with getting like these little tidbits about Weapon X, about when he was an Alpha Flight, but never knowing where he came from.
Can't they just retcon it away?
No, well, they retconned it even worse, where Dog isn't Sabretooth. It got even worse. But it's the same as Twin Peaks. Twin Peaks, when we found out who killed Laura Palmer, that show was done.
Who killed Laura Palmer?
Her dad.
Oh,
Spoilers. Her dad.
Only 40 years ago.
Yeah.
The cafe from that show is like 3 towns over to the east.
Yeah, and it's awesome. No, but it's the same thing. Like they knew that as soon as they revealed it, that show was done. So they tried to not, and ABC wasn't having it. And
isn't that how it always is though when you have one trick? Right? Like it's like you need a bag of tricks and not just one trick.
I'm not Shyamalan.
Yeah. I think that's why like Veronica Mars worked. Is that it was always like they never got to the core of like the mystery that was going on with her. It was always like digging into her. And I think Wolverine Origins killed that about that character. Was it's like, okay, here's everything. And I mean, it showed why he was obsessed with Jean, which like nobody needed that.
Nobody needed that. He just has a fetish for redheads. Yeah, for me, it was just the story was so bland. The setting was bland. The aristocrat family. It was a really small, contained story, but it was just so forgettable. Like Wolverine is, a lot of us grew up with, Jim Lee and with
X-Men.
Yeah, with what's his face, the writer, Chris.
Claremont?
Yeah, Claremont's
Claremont.
run, and then the '92 cartoon, and we had this image of Wolverine, and then Wolverine Origins was nothing like that, but not in a good way. It was just like he was a boring ass. Here's a very boring. It's a story that if you applied it to any other character, like no one would buy that comic.
How is it that going from Logan to John Howlett, how is that even a thing?
That's a stupid name.
It's so uninteresting.
Howlett.
I mean, like the whole point of like comics and fantasy is like that whole idea, like just one name. That's Logan. There's so much mystery to that,
And it killed the mystique of the character.
Who was the artist? Was it Braithwaite or something like that? It's real.
It was one of the Kuberts.
Oh, was it?
Yeah, I want to say it was Adam Kubert.
I mean, they kind of wrote it like it was a Canadian television show, bland and boring.
That's actually true.
My wife watches a Canadian television show about horses and ranching. It's called Heartland. It is drivel.
Yeah, it was Dougie Braithwaite was Wolverine Origin.
Ooh, Braithwaite.
Yeah,
it's a good name from Red Dead Redemption 2.
His stuff could be really rough, especially if he doesn't have the right finisher and colorist. But I mean, I feel like with comic books, you gotta have, if you don't have a good story, you gotta have some good visuals. And I feel like the only thing it had was Wolverine. To Sean's point, there was nothing really interesting about it. I think a lot of people tuned in because it was Wolverine and to find out what he really was all about. But
and to be fair, Deadpool survived on visuals for 10, 15 years before they started doing.
Wait, Deadpool's been good before?
Deadpool had a very brief period during Marvel Ultimate Alliance 1 where he was amazing.
Because I feel like that's a character that definitely hasn't earned his fame.
No,
from a comic book standpoint.
I would say the same about Harley, though. I know I'm in the minority, but I'd say that about Harley.
I like Deadpool
But at
more
least-
than I like Harley.
At least Harley was the first of something, right? She was one of the first animated characters to get translated back into comic books successfully, right? Because she was created for the animated series.
Can't
Yes.
argue that.
Deadpool was just a big middle finger about some shit she was pissed off about.
Yeah,
In a red suit.
Deadpool's a joke character.
And he's famous for doing something She-Hulk was doing before him. Right? The fourth wall thing, She-Hulk was doing that.
Yep.
Yes. But no one was tuning in because she's green. Green lives
I
matter.
mean, no one was tuning in because people really don't
Boring
like.
character.
No, hold on, time out. People just don't like it would. The whole giving a character someone else's shtick, I would rather see create new heroes. Right? She-Hulk is female Hulk.
Well, how do you
Tells you right in the name. Right?
how do you feel about like temporary ones, like when Danny Rand had to be Daredevil for a little bit, or when Grayson's Batman for a little bit?
I mean, if it fits the story, sure, but don't make that the core of the character, right? Like when Falcon became Captain America, I loved it, right? Because
yeah, he's
I knew
a separate. Yeah,
I knew someday he was going to go back to being Falcon, because Falcon is Falcon. Like he got his own joint. He got through a deep-ass V-neck to stay around. If you can survive that kind of V-neck, that plunging neckline, you deserve to be famous later on. And Falcon survived that. Was that not a deep-ass V-neck?
I'm gonna say males with V-necks, because Scarlet Witch has been thriving with
Sure.
that V-neck
Yeah.
for
I'm just saying,
50 years.
If you're the Falcon and you had that janky green costume and a V-neck, but him becoming Captain America for a while is a great story because they're best friends and it makes sense, right? But it's not the core of that character. Captain America was just a stop on Falcon's journey. Falcon, the character, stands on his own. And my preference would be for comic book companies to create new heroes. Sometimes it works. You get a Miles Morales, and that shit just blows up. But for every Miles Morales,
Get the new Warriors.
how many other new version of an old character gets kicked away? See, man, you know what? Those are all new. I support those new Warriors characters because at least they're their own characters.
Safe space. You support safe space.
Hold on, I'm not saying. Listen. I'm saying in this line of thinking, right? It's better to be safe space than new Thrasher, right? Like other Thrasher. We're gonna make Thrasher, make everything else different about him, but call him Thrasher and not tie him into original Thrasher or her in original Thrasher. We're just gonna use the Thrasher brand. First of all, it's fucking lazy writing.
I mean,
It's
they're
super
doing that
fucking
with
lazy
the
writing.
X-Men spinoff. There's like a girl Cyclops, another angel-looking character, and
It's just the original 5, and they gender swapped them.
yep.
Right, which is lazy writing. Make them their own heroes. It's worth it. If we got to go through a bunch of characters to get someone to be their own hero, I just think it's worth it more. I think, what it does is it connects people, because you are using the brand. When you're using another hero's identity, you're using the brand to draw people in, and then hopefully the writer writes an interesting person behind the mask.
Well,
Right?
with
That's
Miles
what you're
Morales, with Miles Morales, when he first debuted, like, I knew that comic might go up in value one day and stuff, but I didn't buy it because Bendis, he knows how to do like a setup, but his writing was so bland and boring for the initial debut of Miles. I didn't like Miles until the movie that came out.
It worked. Miles is a come up for them, right? But again, it doesn't work. How many times have we given someone else's role, and then we never hear from that person again?
But it's also safe. I mean, look at the past few years. We've had Jane Thor, who worked. We had Miles Morales, who worked. Spider-Gwen, who worked. As far as new characters, I mean, Red Tool, Punchline. Ooh. Exactly.
I just think.
I mean, Mime and Marionette are cool characters, but they're never going anywhere. Like, nobody's going to pick them up.
I don't know. Or if you're going to use a brand, use some D-lister and make that D-lister great as a new person.
You mean?
Yeah, like Yeah, Tom
'Cause
King
it's
was
never-
doing good things with like Vision and Mr. Miracle. Like, yeah,
It's
he's
never-
taking D-listers and making like
Right.
really good miniseries with them.
It's never permanent, right? Like when Superman from Earth 2, when Val Zod came out, I was like, I bought all the books, read it. I thought the story was pretty decent. And I was like, but this is never going to stick. They're always going to switch it back to Clark Kent. It's always going to switch back to Clark Kent.
Yeah.
But I mean,
So why get invested in that character? Right?
see,
what's the
I'm
point?
also partially attached because Superboy Prime was awesome.
Yes, he was.
Because he became a villain. And
Well,
he's
because
awesome for all
he's
the
a
wrong,
troll now. He's setting in our universe, trolling the DC forums.
awesome for all the wrong reasons.
Yes, but it worked.
He's
all
a
the
vehicle
wrong-
for writers to troll the audience.
Ugh. All the wrong. The retcon punch. God, Red Hood's
Yeah,
revival
Red Hood is because
could have
of
been so
Superboy
good. Could have been so good.
They
Sans the
retconned it
retcon
back
punch.
again. He fell into it like it's even worse now, where his grave was over a Lazarus pit, and when the bottom of his
Yeah.
casket decayed, he fell in.
I mean, it's funny that the
Mhm,
dude that
mhm.
wrote Bucky's Return is also the dude that wrote freaking Jason Todd's Return, but didn't get to stay long enough to see it through. Because I mean, that was Brubaker's pitch, right, to bring Jason Todd back,
Yes.
and then they just had to go, well, this is good, but we didn't really write it, and he works with the other team now. How do we fix it? Someone in the writers' room was like, I don't know. Retcon
That-
punch. Why the retcon punch?
That's the only time I ever read Captain America was when Bucky assumed the role as under the
Brubaker's
Brubaker
run
run.
was Brubaker's run. Wade's run was decent. Brubaker's run was really good. Like it's
And
probably
then,
the
like,
best cap spend.
Yeah, I love that run. Him and Black Widow running around, and then
Although I did not like that he got to be Captain America before Falcon did.
Well, in the comics, it's
But
it's
here's the
hard
thing: I like him as Winter Soldier better anyway, right?
But
Because that's
Bucky's
his own character.
Winter Soldier is a more popular character than Falcon, and Marvel's
Ooh.
about making money.
I don't know. I mean, I don't know. I feel like that's not true.
The
Like
Winter
Falcon
Soldier,
is under
the
limit.
return of Bucky, the Winter Soldier run in the comics was so popular, you had to do something with it.
It was super popular, but I mean, fucking, you could give Brubaker any character, he'd probably make him great. Just without me knowing anything else that he's never wrote on it, probably trash.
Brubaker's picky, so he got
Right.
to pick. He got to do what he wanted to do with DC. I'm glad that you kind of uncovered that. It's great that you brought that up because I always love those little things where, you know, Brubaker came up with the concept and idea, but then Winnick had to finish it at DC.
Right.
But I think Winnick did a great job, though.
Except for the retcon punch, right?
No, well,
no,
that
I
was,
love that.
that was-
That's so stupid.
that wasn't him.
John.
That was Johns. That was Jeff Johns.
It was amazing
It
because of how
was.
stupid it was.
They should have just looked at Jeff Johns and be like, you can retcon punch everything except Jason Todd. That shit happened the way they wrote it.
I mean, the thing about it too, though, it does kind of uncover how, again, I'm not a big Superman fan. Some people on this pod is, but when you see
Ooh,
Superman,
yeah.
Sean.
when you see Prime,
Not me.
so when you see Superman Prime, you can kind of see like how actually noble a character Clark Kent Superman is, because you can also turn out to be like that. So.
I mean, I guess the best thing going for Superboy Prime is that they didn't have to kill Lois to make Superman bad. Because normally that's the thing, right? Oh my God,
Injustice,
someone
yeah.
killed Lois. Oh my God, now I'm really mad.
Yeah, I'm watching The Boys right now, which is basically JL if they were all assholes. But yeah, like with Homelander as like an evil Superman, yeah, I'm getting Superboy Prime vibes from it. It's kind of awesome.
Isn't that what
But
the
it's
authority is?
even more-
Isn't the authority the Justice League if they were assholes?
Pretty much.
If they were criminals.
Yeah. The Authority is different. The Authority, they're like global, right? They're like,
So
I mean,
the-
I guess those are The Boys is dope. I watched it; it's amazing. But I'm just like, yo, like
I'm halfway
This
through
is
it.
not-
Yeah.
soup making the good guys making analogies to the main characters. Like it's not like it hasn't been done before.
CSA is basically if Superman was Donald Trump. That's basically what it is.
Yeah, I love Garth Ennis is fucking amazing. I love that a lot of his work, like you can actually see, you can look at the storyboard, you can open his book and you can see this is the screen board that they used and they recreated it. I love that kind of shit. And that's probably the only reason I can ever say I appreciate a little bit of Snyder from Watchmen, but that's about it. And maybe that's about it.
The Boys is almost seems like what Snyder wanted to do, but he doesn't have the skill or writing creativity to pull off.
Or balls to be like, hey, this is what I want to see, and direct his actors. But I think
So what I think Snyder's problem is that he doesn't have balls, but he sees himself as having all of the balls. He's like, oh, I'm going to make this dark and edgy. I'm going to turn off the lights. But watching Sucker Punch. Now, this is going to sound weird, but Sucker Punch is the most vanilla, toned down movie about child rape you could ever imagine. No, seriously. Go back and watch Sucker Punch.
I don't want to.
Sucker Punch has such an important topic. It has all these great ideas, and then he just waters it down so much.
I mean, 300 was good.
Was it?
Yeah, it was.
Because he's stuck to the Frank Miller, like the writing and the layout of the comic. That's why 300 was good. That's why Daredevil was good. That's why the Nolan series is good. They did the right things with Frank Miller's work.
Wait a minute. Wait. Hold on.
Yes.
Batman 3 sucked.
Batman 3 did suck. But
let's not mince words. Batman 3 sucked.
Not sucked. That has an amazing Selena Kyle.
Hold on.
That has an amazing Selena Kyle.
Hello, Batman. My name is Bane. I sound like a Miggity Mitch.
Hey, he was just early on COVID.
I'm just saying, how you have Bane sound like a Miggity Mitch? And isn't Bane supposed to be Latino?
No, Bane did suck. Bane 100% did suck.
He got whitewashed.
But I'm saying Selena Kyle in that movie is worth watching it.
Selena Kyle was good.
I mean, yeah, I guess. I don't know. That movie was trash.
But yeah, like
not Thor 2
especially
trash.
Batman Begins. They aped a lot of year one off of that, which is Frank Miller stuff.
I did enjoy Batman Begins. I did not enjoy the Joker movie as much as everybody else. I thought it was a good movie. I don't know. I wasn't like losing my shit over it like everybody else was.
Yeah, basically, I think anybody that apes Frank Miller for their work in the movie or the TV mediums, if you don't mess with it too much, you get a good movie or show out of it. Yeah.
I mean, you can get, the thing is, we know we can get good movies either way, right? Like Marvel messed with the Guardians of the Galaxy, shit was good. Just gotta get the right people doing your business.
Guardians 1 was good.
Nobody gave a shit about the Guardians of the Galaxy. They announced that, and I promise you, ladies and gentlemen, all 35 people that watch this, none of y'all were like, oh my God, this is going to be the next greatest franchise ever. Oh my God.
Well,
every comic book nerd, everybody was like, Marvel's taking a moonshot.
For those that did read Abnett Lanning's, the core book, that it was really, a lot of that stuff was, they wrote it, and you saw a lot of that come to life. I mean, we didn't see, what is it? Not Moonstone. Is it Moonstone her name? The bald chick?
Yeah, it's Moonstone.
Yeah, we didn't see her. We didn't see a lot of the Galaxy 3000, but we're going to see them, supposedly.
Yeah, but if you polled people that were Guardians fans, because I read a lot of cosmic stuff. I read Annihilation Wave, Realm of Kings, all that shit. If you polled them about which Drax was their favorite Drax, it would not be boring Drax. It would be awesome, big Hulk Drax.
I mean, but to be fair, so
nobody liked cargo pants. Nobody liked cargo pants Drax in the comics. I
read a lot of Raccoon and Groot stuff. I didn't read a lot of them as a team. I read I read Rocket and Groot. So when they announced that movie was coming out, I was afraid. I thought that was going to be a huge flop, and they turned it into a somewhat profitable movie.
Hold on, that movie was great. I'm saying
They made a lot of money.
Ain't nobody saw that as a $1 billion franchise. Nobody was like, "Oh, Marvel's just gonna make a." Everybody was like, "Oh shit, they done spent all their capital."
Yep.
Going back to the dark ages, folks. Stop, Omar. Stop fronting. Stop. You were not that confident.
No, I wasn't
scared.
confident. But again, that was one of the movies that Disney was excited about because
it was. I agree with you.
No one was thinking that it was going to be Groot.
No one had swag with that. Nobody had confidence that was going to be. You meet a comic book fan that says they were like, "Oh yeah, I knew it was going to be amazing." You smack them, bow, right across their face for being a filthy liar. That's some biggity bullshit.
But, I mean, the whole licensing. I mean, how many of those little Groot plants and Groot trees,
we all agree.
Dolls have we seen like houses?
Baby Groot was proto Baby Yoda, or the child. No, we're not doing that. I'm not doing that on this podcast.
Baby Yoda.
You're not me on this podcast. I'm calling that shit Baby Yoda. Like that was the proto, right? That was the prototype for Baby Yoda. Baby Groot was Baby Yoda. Same shit.
I mean,
which was all based on Gizmo from Gremlins. Same shtick.
There were
bullshit.
There were two people who had faith in that movie: James Gunn
and Alan Mason.
Pretty much. And I was gonna say Zoe Saldana because she's like, "You paint me in a color, I will make you billions of dollars."
That's
but they did that in Star Trek. It didn't work out for them.
Was she painted?
She wasn't painted in Star Trek.
She was like the same color, wasn't she?
No, in Star Trek, she's her natural skin. In Avatar, she's blue.
Damn.
Omar doesn't see color.
Second lost episode. Jeez. Damn it, Omar.
And Columbiana did not take off either. That's supposed to be a franchise.
Yeah, I mean, listen. And the second Guardians movie was kind of.
Yeah.
I would say it was middle of the road. It wasn't. I mean, it wasn't
Thor.
Like,
it wasn't Thor 2 bad.
It wasn't Iron Man 3, Thor 2.
Ooh, Iron Man 3 is pretty bad.
I think honestly, Guardians 2 could have been a lot better. It seems like there was some over editing. I feel like
it was safe. Guardians 2 was safe.
Yeah, they could
more of the same.
Gone there. They could have really gone there. I mean, they had some cool concepts, and they could have obviously gone into the Eternals, but maybe they wanted to save it, I guess. But
yeah, I didn't like Guardians 2. I really Thor 3. After the second time I watched it, kind of like something just drops. Like you come out, you're like, that was really good. You have yourself convinced. So the second time, I'm like, every scene in that movie ended in a joke.
I was so upset watching.
There was no gravity in that movie.
I had so much fun. I feel like
I had a great time.
But he's a cosmic beer guy. He's a cosmic Midwest.
Oklahoma is not Midwest.
Oklahoma is technically Midwest.
If you talk to some Oklahomans, they'll tell you they're Midwest.
But if you talk to people from Texas, Oklahoma isn't a real state.
Yeah.
I don't know. I just feel like that particular movie, it's a good popcorn movie. Don't get me wrong. And Thor needed it really bad, right? After the debacle that was Natalie Portman's Thor 2, they needed a recovery plan for sure, right?
I'll be honest.
The look on Christ's face.
I'll be honest. I didn't really care for her role much. I feel like they obviously didn't use her to her potential, and that's why she was pissed. But I did like the whole concept of Malekith and the Dark Elves. I thought it was dope. I thought, again, it kind of.
But they did. That was another safe movie. They didn't go with Malekith. They just made him into a big bad.
Whole space, cosmic, fantasy. I like that they just kind of try to stir that a little more because that's who Thor is. Thor is a cosmic god, and they got to show that, And obviously, when they got Taika Waititi to do Ragnarok, I mean, that showed what he can be, which is colors, psychedelic craziness, orgies, all that shit.
But I think the character that will show if Marvel's willing to have teeth again or not is how they play Adam Warlock. If they have him be basically the cinematic version's Sentry, where he's just obliterating things, then I think we have something. But if he's as whitewashed as Guardians 3 was, as whitewashed as Ragnarok
Wait,
was, where
wasn't he a hippie for a while in the comics? I remember Adam Warlock distinctly being like a straight up hippie.
No, he was, but I'm saying we're never going to get Sentry. He's as close as we're getting.
Yeah. I mean, way different power set though, right?
Way different power set, but as far as like...
And wait, don't say we're never getting Sentry.
I don't think we are.
Don't say, Landers, we done said we're never getting a lot of stuff.
I mean, I want Sentry. I don't know if it's going to happen.
I think what Landers is saying about Sentry and Warlock, they're very similar characters, right? Because they both have their polar opposites. They both have Sentry and Void. They have Warlock and Magus, right?
Yeah.
So I think, honestly, what I want to see is I want to see the teeth come in for Marvel and have Warlock be the first like major LGBTQ plus character, where he's just like fucking people and they don't even know it. That'd be amazing.
Disney's not going to do it.
I want to see what
They're
Disney
just
does.
not. They're not. Disney won't do it. They're going to
Disney
do it. They'll
says-
do it they'll do it in a very Disney way. Right? Because the Eternals are going to have that. The Eternals already have I think 2 of the Eternals are LGBTQ. I think so. I'm almost positive. I mean, that would make total sense.
I think Grandmaster is pan, I think.
But either way, I think the Eternals are going to take that. They're going to be the first movie with that. So they're going to have to make Warlocks. They're going to have to do something else with Warlock. I don't know. I've never been a huge Adam Warlock fan, so I'm good. Like, dude's got gold.
I feel like his character is pretty much like a super powerful. I only bring this up because I was watching the 30-30 for Be Water, and
which is very good, by the way.
Yeah, it was real good. For those of you, did you guys watch it?
I haven't watched it yet.
Check it out, really good. But I was thinking about was it? Is it Shaolin? No, what was that? Old 80s.
David Carradine?
Yes, David Carradine.
Kung Fu legend, the dude that hung himself.
Hung himself.
Like in a weird sex thing.
Yeah, I was gonna say there's more to that story.
Yeah, he was in a weird sex thing.
Like, I feel like a lot of the Ron Lim, Starlin stories are him just journeying, but in a cosmic way, but it's very spiritual. I feel like that's kind of like what the stories that stood out for me, that's who he is. But I know
Disney's 100% afraid of that. That's why we skip Marvel and we get like 2 scenes of Marvel before it becomes Carol.
That was such a trash movie.
Better than Wonder Woman.
No, it wasn't.
It could have been so good. It really could
Better
have.
than Wonder Woman.
It was that movie was bland.
A bland Marvel movie is better than every DC movie. Well, DC Cinematic Universe. I don't want to lump in Burton and Donner.
Wonder Woman was better than plenty of Marvel movies. Plenty.
In one.
Plenty of Marvel movies. Like all the ones Natalie Portman's been in outside of Endgame.
Nope. She was in Avengers.
When?
Christopher Owen, Wonder Woman is better than Avengers.
No, she wasn't in Avengers.
Yeah, Maria Hill's looking at her on a computer.
That's not. No. Stop
That
it.
doesn't
Stop
count.
it.
He had to sign her likeness.
Stop it. They probably had it already signed. They were like, you know what? We're going to pay you a big paycheck that you didn't earn for sure. We're going to use your picture in his 3rd movie. But we don't want you back. I don't know how they're going to make her Jane Foster unless we get a stand-in. It's not going to be good.
Have you seen her? She's jacked right now.
So Jack for her is like, what, 96 pounds?
No, her arms are like double the size they were.
So, like, that she went from toothpick to straw?
No, she's more potato.
I mean, Gal Gadot got over 100 pounds when she got jacked. She only went to like $115. I'm just saying, Natalie Portman, I just don't know, man. I don't know how they're going to CGI her to be taller than 5'11", or not 5'11", 4'11".
The boots have huge lifts. I know that much.
Like, whoa, hold on. She's what, 5'1" normally?
I think she's 5 foot.
She's 5 foot.
She's
So
5'3".
what kind
She's
of
5'3".
unless she gets a pair of straight up 2011 stripper shoes,
I
it's not gonna
mean,
work.
let's
I'm
also
talking about the joints, the platform joints that you could put goldfish in. Y'all
But
know what I'm talking about.
let's also say Ian McKellen and Elijah Wood are the same height.
Super weird.
That is
Yeah, they're
pretty.
the same height.
Yeah, okay. I mean, we can do camera tricks. It's fine. I'm just sad. That's one of my favorite Thor stories, and they're going to ruin it with Natalie Portman.
Nope. It's gonna be.
Or maybe they listen. Or maybe they won't. I didn't think Gal Gadot was going to be a great Wonder Woman. She turned
And
out
she
to be a great
wasn't.
Wonder Woman. I didn't think Jason Momoa could pull off Aquaman. He pulled it off.
Oh, that was
And he
actually
didn't.
Aquaman. That's real, like underrated DC film. Actually, I enjoyed
Good movie.
Ugh.
That was a good, fun movie. It was like a Thor 3 type of fun movie. Except not every scene in that movie ended with a joke, and it got progressively higher stakes as the movie went on, because that's what movies are supposed to do for a superhero. The stakes go up, the hero gets more serious, because that's part of the hero's journey. Or
Well,
you
what's
get
the-
your eye poked out and laugh it off.
What was the crappy show that Momoa was on right after that, where he tried to do an Irish accent?
Frontier.
Oh, he was on
I-
Frontier before that, and he didn't try to do an Irish accent. He was a frontiersman, and his accent was really bad. That show has some validity. It's not a bad show. Not a bad show.
Season 1 and 2, and then after that, it was just shitty.
I only
Also,
watched through season 2.
also Amber Heard's hair, it just detracts from
Now, I'm
Aquaman.
willing to admit, unlike you are about your girl, the franchise killer, Amber Heard's wig definitely had problems.
And also, you have to recast her now. If you're going to continue on with that character.
There's rumors that she's been fired.
Yeah, it's cool. Recast her. Do we care?
No, we don't care.
Listen, while you're at it, tell Marvel to recast Brie Larson.
But Bree's done nothing wrong.
Yeah, she acts like shit.
Did she?
I don't care if
Did
she
she
won an
beat?
Academy Award. I don't care if she won an Academy Award. I don't want to hear about that nonsense.
No, I'm saying, did she beat up her husband?
Oh, no. I'm just saying while we're recasting people, we can get a new Captain Marvel. It'll be great. I just don't think
We
she
have
carried the
Photon.
role. Here's what I'm saying. When now, whether you like Wonder Woman or not, Craig, because you are like one of the only 5 people in the world.
I'm gonna yell.
Now, when you see Diana, you see Gal Gadot's face. Right?
No,
That's just it. Yeah,
I
it's
see
just what it is.
JLU still.
People see Gal Gadot's face. She embodies the role. When you see Iron Man, you see Robert Downey Jr.'s smug ass mug all up in your talk box. Captain America is Chris Evans, right? They now embody those roles to where the next person that plays it's gonna have a hard time. They can swap out Brie tomorrow. I'll be like, oh cool, new person's in. Let's go. Recast Nick Fury. You recast Nick Fury, Sammy J just overshadows him.
Not happened. No, Brie looked good.
Well, they
though.
based that character off of him.
I mean, she was good in the league when Jeff Goldblum was, handling.
Well, that was
business.
more Jeff Goldblum than her.
If you guys haven't watched The League, it's a fantastic TV show. It's about friends who hate each other.
Like
And it
us?
makes Jeff Goldblum great again.
Have you not watched The League, Sean?
I have not.
Oh, my friend. You should totally watch The League. It's really about a bunch of suburban white people that absolutely despise each other. I don't even know how they call themselves friends. Brie Larson's in it. She's an au pair for multiple episodes.
She's an au pair.
And and Jeff Goldblum and her have a vinegar stroke moment.
Wow. Jeff Goldblum, I feel like he's like my hero. Like
He plays Nick Kroll's dad in that show.
You should totally watch. Like, have you watched The League, Omar?
I have not.
Oh, dude, you super are mean to your friends.
I think I've only watched the pilot. I've watched the pilot of it.
Nah, that show's great.
The pilot
listen,
they were still trying to figure out.
Unless you don't like people treating each other like shit. If you don't like that stuff, then don't watch it.
No, we all like that because that's what we do to each other.
Yeah, it's 7
like, every
seasons of
single
people
day.
treating each. It's 7 seasons of terrible people treating each other and all the people around them terribly.
To encapsulate it, there's a part of the show where they blame one of the characters of faking his wife's death to push through a fantasy football trade. And everyone 100% really thinks that he's faking it.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's messed up.
Yeah, it's super messed up. It's super messed up, super funny. Super funny.
Oh, I have no idea what the time is. It doesn't show the time. We've been at it for a while.
9:16.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, it's been over 2 hours, man. All right, so we're going to wrap this episode up before us as horrible people do more horrible things to each other and say more horrible things where we get another lost episode. Craig, you did not need to text me that. I'm going to throw that text away right now. All right, so you can find us on Facebook, Twitter, Nerdin'In. We also have that on Gmail. Do we have any other things, Instagram or anything?
Instagram, Twitter.
Twitch.
Oh shit, we're on Twitch now?
We have a Twitch now. Nothing's on it yet, but we do have a Twitch now.
Oh, we're gonna do this. We should.
All right, we'll load stuff up. Yeah. All right, so yeah, check us out. Feel free to comment. Tell us how much of a horrible. Tell us how horrible we are, and give us more topics that we can talk about next time.
Why you side with me about Sean's shirt?
No, that's never gonna happen. Just for that, I'm gonna start putting on another shirt right now. All right, see everyone next week. We'll talk about more nerd stuff. Peace. There you go, Craig. Are you happy?